Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here today. We're taking a look at Huobi token. I think I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, let me know down below in the comments. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor, just have years of trading experience. And my role here and goal essentially is to make sure that we help you become more of an effective, self-sufficient trader. I have a trading community, link in the description below. Check that out in your own time. I send out signals for every single trade that I take, and we're about 85% success rate on average. So good stuff there. Check that out when you can, of course. But we'll do first is we look at Bitcoin, because any good trader will look at Bitcoin before they make a decision on investing in an altcoin, because why make a decision if it's not informed, right? Well-informed decision makers understand what Bitcoin looks like. As soon as you understand what Bitcoin is doing, altcoins become so much easier. Just take it from me there. I promise you, if you know and you trade Bitcoin, then everything else just becomes a lot better. Regardless, I want to state here something. First of all, we're above the resistance channel, right? So we broke the all-time high and the one-day close high. So all in all, we're in very good shape right now. This should be a strong support level right at about 64,800, or just say round number 65,000. But keep this in mind, right? So according to TD sequential, we've got a state of exhaustion right now. In other words, we should experience some type of retracement or correction soon. We haven't had any correction in almost a full month. We're looking at 3 weeks of straight increase. Yes, we had a short period of consolidation in between. That's perfectly fine. But unless we see consolidation soon, or just go sideways for some time, then we're going to see a big correction. Now, I just think it's inevitable personally, so just keep that in mind. Again, this isn't exact science, but any good run has to have a correction. So we see this here, this increase, correction, increase, increase, correction. Right? We haven't seen any of that in the last 3 weeks, right? We've literally gone from 40,000 to 67,000 with almost nothing to show for it as far as, some type of reverse action, right? So I'm sure the bears are just ready to take some profits, and I think we're going to see a lot of shorts happen soon. In fact, I just shorted and made some profits because I was able to buy the top and sell right around 65.5. Regardless, just know there's tremendous potential for the price to retrace for Bitcoin. Okay, just based on that sentiment alone. Now Huobi token it's an interesting one, right? As we can kind of see, let's take a quick look at its history first. Just to preface, we're well below both moving averages. But looking at this here, first of all, right? Price comes down March, cranking back up right around April. And this is interesting because if you look here in April, right here, April 17th was the first major Bitcoin sell-off. It ramped back up and ramped up hard. Okay, so it jumped up fast, quick up here, and what got it? Elon candle, May 12th. That was the beginning of the end for Huobi. Now, as to why, it just continued on and got smashed. I don't know exactly why. I never truly followed it. I'm off and on with this one, but just know that it was all well and good until Elon candle came through, and all of a sudden you can't use Bitcoin to buy Tesla, and then it just went to crap. And obviously May 19th was the nail in the coffin. That's this guy right here. Pretty obvious candlestick. And ever since then, it just kind of retraced. So regardless of what happened, that is essentially its history. That kind of tells us that it's very responsive to financial issues, right? Because those were both finance related. And then, of course, we had the September 7th here as well. It actually kind of did very well, considering, because that was not a significant retracement compared to before. But fact of the matter is, the price is where it's at now, and I think we're going to see some type of turnaround. I would say that we're probably at its lowest point in quite some time. So I'll just go ahead and start marking some support and resistance levels. We can see right there, of course, right around $7. There was a pretty consistent hold above support. Last 2 days, we've seen some decent increase here. So we've got about 25% approximately in the last 24 hours. So if we can continue that over the next few days, we're going to see some pretty awesome gains. But again, we got some, it's an uphill battle, for lack of better terms. Got the major resistances here with the moving averages. RSI is back over 50, which is fantastic. I love to see this. This basically tells us that we have bullish momentum now. Because I don't know if you can kind of see this here. Do you see this little support channel, right? So you see that, and then you see this. Okay, that's mostly bullish, right? The price is going up, somewhere like that. So I like to mention that just because obviously the price has been under 50 for some time, but now it's back above 50. There's a strong chance that that'll work as a support level essentially, and can continue to push the price up. It happens more often than you believe. Believe it or not, that's what I was trying to say. And it's just one of those things that a lot of people don't really notice. It's kind of just in the background. RSI, no big deal, but it actually does play a big role. We had a convergence on the MACD as well on the 6th. We could see that, but that got fizzled out, broke down to support. So all in all, not in bad shape there. So, there's definitely room for potential here. I would venture to guess that, an entry at $9, will you see a 2x? Perhaps. I think it's more likely to see a rejection here at the resistance level, right at about 1660. So we could expect that to be a major resistance. Let's see if we can find some other resistance levels too. There's a good chance this could hold the price down as well. So we just got to pay attention to that. So that one is also right around $11. We can just say round number $11 would be the next major milestone to pass, because obviously it spent a lot of time getting rejected there previously. Take a look at the 4 hour just really quick, kind of see here. This is a pretty healthy increase. I like this. We got this up over pattern. I know it's very small and you can't really see, but you can kind of tell, the price, even though it's ramping up, it's having nice little periods of, 4 to 8 hours of consolidation in between each leg up. I like to see that. That's very healthy. It's a good sign. Plus, the fact of the matter is, because this is actually even more relevant in my opinion, over the 1 day chart, we have the 50 and the 200-day simple moving average working at support levels now. That's excellent. So, really good things there. RSI is over 70, not a big deal. I would recommend considering maybe taking some profits, because we might see a retracement. We'll take a look at the Fibonacci here in just a second, but let's take a quick peek at TD sequential. Yeah, so see, we're at a 9 right now. Basically just means that we've got 9 hours of bullish momentum, and we should see at least some sideways action for some time. So this is healthy in a way, but we need to see probably, I would say, at least a day of consolidation would be great, and then we can experience another leg up, right? And speaking of leg up, let's see what we're looking at here for the Fibonacci. So take the most recent low, go here, put it up there. We can see that 618 was a pretty strong support. We'll go ahead and keep that here, mark that guy. And obviously we got a resistance forming right now as well at 960. So let's just go ahead and mark one last thing here, because what will happen is we're going to have 2 channels. We're going to have the support channel and a resistance channel. So the price continues to go sideways where it's at, all good. If it retraces, it might come down to this level here and kind of go sideways. We lose that, we have a secondary support right down here as well. So all in all, we actually got some good stuff going here. These are nice little channels that have been proven. And I'll show you what I mean by that here in just a moment. All right. So that is kind of where we're at for the moment. So just keep that in mind. Let's take a quick look at the 1 hour chart, see if we can identify where we're at here. We're obviously well above the cloud. Something that's also nice too, the cloud, people don't know this, or if you do, fantastic, kudos to you, you've done your research. But when the price, breaks into the cloud, it's typically considered not a buy signal. But what happens a lot is for nice bullish continuations, just say the price does retrace and we lose the support here, it should come over and bounce off of the cloud. Okay. So that's the great thing about it. It kind of gives you that secondary support on bullish trends. It works the same way with bearish trends on the downside, but just note that is essentially what's going on with the cloud. And then of course we take a look here as well at TD sequential. We got a couple of resets, so nothing much to know. Okay, so all in all, everything that I see here so far for Huobi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, it feels weird to say Huobi. We're going to see a pretty significant, ramp back up. I think it's pretty safe to say that the price will come up to $11 at least in the near future. And then I would say within the next 2 to 4 weeks, we'll probably see somewhere in the range of $17 as a likelihood. Okay, now is this a certainty? No, not exactly. It's been beaten down quite a few times. And this is something you need to understand. When a price comes down that hard, that fast, the likelihood of it coming back up is slower. In other words, it's going to take longer. And I like to give you this analogy. I know it's kind of brutal, but imagine falling down a flight of stairs, right? You're going to probably break some bones. You're going to have some significant bruises, scrapes, the whole 9 yards. You're going to feel terrible. You're going to feel like crap, likely for quite a while, right? You might have a neck brace. You're going to have a lot of problems per se that would come from that. Huobi has fallen down the stairs twice, right? So the very first time, it took quite a while to recover. When we look back here, of course, it recovered on July 21st. That was when Bitcoin bounced off 30,000 as a support and has continued upwards ever since. However, these little things that happened are knocking it down pretty hard, okay? So just keep in mind, it's come down fast and hard a few times. Yes, this isn't quite as significant as this, but it's still, I mean, you look at how long this took to start to recover, we could see the same as well, right? So again, history doesn't have to repeat itself, but it oftentimes does. So just note that this is fairly low. I think it's a very good value personally, based on where it should and could be. But you have to give it a little bit of time. Sideways action from here is good. It's healthy. We want to see that. If it legs up too hard, too fast, then it's just going to come right back down. So honestly, again, I say 2 to 4 weeks. We'll see it definitely in the channel of 11 to 17. And once it breaks 16, I think it's going to be fairly open season to ramp up to its previous all-time high, somewhere in the 38 range. So you literally could be at 2 to 3 to 4x with this coin in 6 months. There's no doubt about that. Which X, it's hard to say. I think 2x is very likely, 3x a little less, and so on, right? So fill in the gaps there. Hopefully you found benefit here. We got somebody at the door. We got to get going. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. And obviously check out my Patreon community if you haven't already. Really awesome scenario there. We actually get a chance to be able to interact with you, of course, my patrons. But more importantly, I provide you with signals for every single trade that I take, one-click follow from the trading bots, and it's just a really awesome, lucrative experience. So check that out in your own time. Thanks again for joining me here. We'll see you all in the next one. Take care.